The UK has just changed the 200-year-old tax law, and let's just say that things are about to change for the worse. Many experts saying that this is the end of the UK as a viable haven for entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals. But what exactly is this non-dom tax law? Why does it matter? And most importantly, why should you be worried about it? We are going to be diving into all of that in today's video, and I hope you stick around till the end because I'm going to teach you how you can save yourself from these changes by getting a foreign residency. And not just any residency, the single most tax-friendly one in the world. As we just mentioned, the non-dom tax laws are a set of rules that have been an important part of how people are taxed in the UK for over 200 years. More specifically, people in the UK whose domicile or place of birth or original nationality is situated outside of the country, in other words, non-domiciles or non-doms. As for what the law specifies, it basically meant that people who had a domicile other than the UK only had to pay taxes on the money they made in the UK or brought into it. This is different from how people with UK domiciles are taxed, since those people have to pay taxes on all of their earnings, domestic and foreign. What this means is that historically, expats and businessmen have found the UK to be an excellent location to expand their businesses, and not only that, even UK nationals, including the current Prime Minister's wife, had applied for non-dom status in order to pay less taxes. However, all of that is about to change. Just recently, the government announced that they are going to change this 200-year-old rule, and that now people who are residents of the UK, no matter their domicile, will be liable to pay taxes on all of their international earnings instead of just their UK ones. This change, which will go into effect in April of next year, will apply to everyone who has been a resident of the country for more than 4 years, and may also lead to changes in how inheritance taxes work for UK expats, among a few other things. There are a few reasons why this is such a big deal. Firstly, this means that the already high tax rate in Britain is going to increase several orders of magnitude for anyone who makes their money internationally. For reference, all earnings above £50,000 are taxed at a whopping 40%, and those above £125,000 at 45%. So you can understand how paying this percentage on earnings that weren't even taxed at all is going to be a big deal. Not only that, but seeing these changes, many well-settled individuals and entrepreneurs are simply going to pack up and leave the UK, which will drastically change the business landscape within the country. In the past, this kind of tax status had been a huge draw for the wealthy and even professionals to move to the country, but now, with these changes, the number of people planning to move to the UK is going to plummet. This means that A, a large number of wealthy people are now looking to leave the UK so they can pay less taxes, and B, people who would have been planning to move to the UK are going to look for other places to move to, which I'm going to talk more about later. So just to recap, with these new tax changes, thousands, if not millions of well-settled entrepreneurs and professionals are going to be looking for a way to leave the UK. And with the country's already deteriorating economy, in particular, the historic inflation rates as seen after Brexit, the notorious rise in criminal activities as seen in large cities such as London, and the current cost of living crisis in the country, this latest change is only going to prove the final nail in the coffin of the UK as a viable location for entrepreneurs and high-income earners. One of my friends living in London recently had his watch stolen, and honestly I was shocked that things had deteriorated so much and so fast. The recent surge of watch-related crimes in the UK, with a staggering 22% increase over the past 12 months, is deeply concerning. And all of this is apparent in another worrying statistic, which is the number of people leaving the country, with some 560,000 people leaving the country back in 2022, the highest it had been up to that point. And as we mentioned, these are not going to be random people, but high-earning and high-spending people who are going to need a lot of help on how to make this transition correctly. Already dozens of clients at my firm have started contacting us and asking about what they can do. So what can you do in such a situation? Well, as I just mentioned, most significant earners will be looking to move elsewhere to more friendly economies, such as places like Switzerland, Singapore, and Portugal, which are often mentioned in these conversations. However, all of these places come with their own challenges. For one, getting a residency in these countries is going to set you back anywhere from 250,000 to over €1 million. And even after paying that much, however, you're still liable to pay a ton of taxes on whatever you make. Singapore, for example, charges up to 24% income tax, Switzerland can go up to 36%, and Portugal a mind-blowing 48%. The place I recommend people to look towards is none other than the UAE. Let me explain. The United Arab Emirates has 0% personal income and capital gain taxes, and with the exception of a recently introduced 9% corporate tax, which is still low than other places, for example the US, which has a federal corporate income tax of 21%. And with the UAE, the cherry on top is that getting a UAE residency is now easier than ever. Not to mention the fact that the country boasts some of the lowest crime rates of any such tax-free country and some of the highest living standards. Portugal and Spain might have pretty beaches, but they have nothing on the sheer scale of Dubai. Beautiful beaches, a highly attractive tax regime, no crime, and best of all, an incredible standard of living. I've been living in Dubai for over 5 years, and let me tell you, moving to Dubai was the best decision I ever made for myself and my business. Now, all this is available to you as long as you're willing to either register a company in the country or buy a property there worth over 2 million Emirati dirhams, which for those of you wondering is a little over £420,000. Just buy a property worth 2 million Emirati dirhams and get a 10-year golden visa. It's also important to remember that the property is only going to be another appreciable asset in your portfolio. Speaking of portfolios, the only thing that people can get a little confused by is how to manage their assets and the moving process to the country, so that is where we come in. If you'd like help in moving your business to Dubai and obtaining a second residency, we're here to help. You can book a call with me or check out my website in the description below. Thanks for watching.